this is a Q&A time, so we're open to answering any questions. All right, Catherine, how do you access your email and desktop when you have Zoom up? And where do I find Facebook Live on the new Facebook?
I can't find anything on the new Facebook.
All right.
For the Zoom question, I recommend 2 monitors, to be honest.
You recommend what?
Having 2 monitors.
Yeah, so basically, my brain knows how to do this. Let's see if I can explain it. For Zoom.
Hey, Angie, I'll pop in while your brain processes. So with Zoom, you actually can make it smaller. Like you can go from full screen view to I'm on my iPad, but if you're on a laptop, right, Catherine?
And I'm seeing if I can minimize it in the chat, maybe when the chat is up.
So we'll take the chat off and just have the gallery, just have the pictures of people.
Okay, because I did.
And then in your upper right-hand corner, there should be like a little, you could change the view from full screen to, help me out, guys. Do you know what it's called?
Enter screen. I see that, because right now it's not full screen.
It isn't. So you can actually drag
your
that.
icons? Yeah.
And do what?
you can drag it and make it skinnier. So you could, like, let's say it's this big, you can take one of the edges and make it thinner.
Like that, okay.
And then behind you is your other, like the document that you're looking at. And then maybe on top of it is your gallery. So that's one way to do it.
Actually, I just did that. So by squeezing the picture screen, and then I could actually take the other Zoom screen down and minimize that. So that did work actually. So now.
Yeah. So that's one option. I love Rachel's suggestion. I usually have 2 monitors too. So that's, I mean, that's actually the most ideal.
What do you mean by 2 monitors?
So you would have, like, you could just go buy yourself, well, you got your laptop monitor. So you got your laptop screen that you're looking at right now. And then you can actually plug in and have two windows open at the same time, one on your laptop and one on the TV screen, basically.
I got you. Okay.
And then you can, when
Drag.
you hit the share button, it'll ask you screen 1 or screen 2. And you're always going to be sharing whatever gets outlined in green.
Interesting. Well, I don't think I'm going to do the 2 monitors, but thank you, Esther, for your suggestion, because that worked.
Right. Well, and you know what? It's baby steps. I mean, it's like that is going to work for you and you're going to get used to it. And then you'll be like, okay, I want to try the 2 monitor thing. And then you'll be like, you'll say, I don't know how I survived without 2 monitors.
Yep, that's exactly what happened to me, Esther.
Yeah. I'm ready to go for 3.
Oh, just 2. Give me 2.
I'm joking though. So I'm sorry, Angie, I interrupted you, but I was like, okay, I think I can answer this one. So
I'm so happy that you did. That's the whole point. This is a virtual mastermind, and that means we put all of our heads together. And when you have wisdom, you get to share it. So yeah, let's all put our heads together right now.
Put our heads together.
No, I didn't get my hair colored yet.
Okay.
Hey, Dee Dee, I see that you've jumped on. I was just asking everybody, if you have questions, post those in the chat and I'll respond to those. We're answering Catherine's questions right now.
I was finishing an apple and it was really messy. You guys didn't need to see all that, but I'm done and I'm back.
Okay. All right. So Facebook Live on the new Facebook platform. I'm going to share my screen.
Thank you.
My desktop is really ugly, you guys, so you're just going to have to bear with me. I'm all set up for the other summit that I'm doing. So I'm sharing. And now I'm going to go to Facebook.
Okay. I understand you can go back to the old Facebook, for 48 hours or something. So if you click on, and I didn't know that, because when I was at the holistic breakfast today, Jen was saying, oh, you can go back to the old one for 48 hours. I said, how do you do that? Because that's what I want to do.
Well, so if I look at, let me just go to my home page. So if I go to my home page right here, you can see these three little buttons.
Yes, I do. I think I clicked on that. All right.
And then live video.
Oh, because I didn't see that. I'll have to check again, but I thought I clicked on, well, maybe it was more that I clicked on. That's what I clicked on, not the three.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be like as if you're doing a post.
Okay.
You know, if you're going to if you were going to share a post, I mean, you just click on that down and there it is.
Right there.
So,
It's like, okay.
so Angie, you're actually on your home page and that's how you find it, correct?
Right. So I'll go to a business
Right.
page to see what that looks
Right.
like.
I tried to find it on the business page and I couldn't find it.
All right. So we'll go to Angie Nuttle.
All right.
So buttons. Oh, let's see.
So I know the one thing when I was subbing for Food Fighters, I had to be on my home page first to do live video and then select live video. I couldn't find it from the Food Fighters.
That's interesting.
So I just don't know if that was just a me thing or if it's a Facebook thing.
Okay. Well, we'll look at it we'll look at the group page too. All right. So if you've got a business page, actually it's right up here.
Okay.
Right up at the top.
Up at oh, okay. Yes, I see that. I mean, that's where it was before on the old one, but it's not there anymore. Hmm.
Maybe they're saying, well, Catherine can't do Facebook Lives.
That's from
All right, so we'll go to a group page. Let's see, let's pick, Food Fighters. So on the group page, you can actually click. So here, let's see here. Actually, you'll have to go up to the more button. So for me, it's the top one.
My video.
My video.
There it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would say, Catherine, if it is not showing, if for some reason it's not showing up for you, like on a group page or on your business page, you need to contact Facebook support.
And how do you do that?
So let's look up here and let's see here. I've never contacted them, so.
That's what I wondered. That, a lot of times things are just hidden. It's like, oh no, you can't contact them. It's like, they'll give you lots of questions and answers and it's like, no, that's not my issue.
How do you contact Facebook
support?
Speak with a tech live now. Okay, that's an ad. Facebook Help Center. Support inbox. Yeah, I did it. Oh, this is good to know.
Oh, this goes against, what is this? This goes against our community standards on spam.
Not really sure why that is. It was something that I posted on. Oh, okay, I see. Because somehow it got posted to a different group, a garage sale thing.
Oh my! Wow.
Had no idea. That must have been an accident. So it looks like. Well, actually, what you can do is go in here in the browser.
Okay.
And just whatever Facebook page you're on.
Yeah.
Just put a /support.
Okay.
And that will take you right to the support page.
Okay.
And then, let's see here. even so, they don't really, it's not, you got to support inbox, but they don't really give you a place to ask them a question. Let's do a little bit deeper digging.
They're very like, oh no, we don't want you to contact us.
Right.
Let's see. How do you contact you need to log into your account. Right corner, you'll see a little question mark inside of a dark circle. Oh my gosh, it's so tiny.
Hidden.
They do not want you to find it.
Where is this? I didn't even see where you clicked. What?
Well, hold on. I'm going to go look.
Okay.
Question mark inside of a dark circle. So let's look at this. In the right.
There it
Oh,
is.
there it is. It's so dark.
Rick Hill.
It doesn't want you to click it.
I will bet you it has to do with have a lot of questions and answers. Like help with
Okay,
this.
here we are. Report a problem. So if you don't see your Facebook Live button, click on here and let them know
That'll be fine.
something isn't working.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we all learned something new, that Facebook does not want us to contact them. They want to push content out to us and make us feel crappy about our posts. But
I actually don't have the help button on my Facebook.
really,
Yeah. Now I'm on the new look of the platform, and I don't have unless I wonder if I have to go to my homepage.
This is what I'm.
yeah, I would go to the homepage
You
and
have to have a certain status.
hey, Catherine, you're elite status, so you should be able to get anything that you want.
I know.
All right. So let me hop off of there. You're just going to have to hold on and look at that Aspen Dental Leadership Presence Summit slide. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, what do you recommend I set up initially from a financial standpoint? Bank account, credit card, and business name. Okay, let me come back off of here so that I can talk to you without being distracted. Okay. So what do you recommend I set up initially from a financial standpoint? So so you need your business name before anything. Go ahead.
So yeah. So I mean, once you register with the state and you have your legal entity name, I mean, I'm set up as a proprietorship, so technically I could write checks out of my own checking account and use my own credit card. And so I'm just trying to get a sense of, is it worthwhile to pursue? I mean, I'm really at a startup phase, so I'm just, looking for people's thoughts on that.
Beth?
Beth?
Yeah, I didn't want to jump in over somebody else. I raised my hand. So I went ahead, I set up a business banking account with Huntington. They had a pretty good deal on community banking for small businesses. And I have a debit card, not a credit card.
Okay.
You can pay more to have a credit card. There are different tiers that they will work with you on. If you have the community one, I mean, I get it's no fees on balances, so you don't have to maintain a minimum balance. There's some good things about that with Huntington, but I compared several other banks and did a spreadsheet at the time. But I did that, and I found it was just, with certain expenses, it's easier to have it in one account, so you're not like reconciling between your personal and your business. So that would be the main thing. But I mean, I deposit checks into my personal account or to my business account. So it's like whatever they made it out to, I put it in. So.
Okay.
I did
Great.
the same thing. I have a business account with the credit union because they don't charge anything for a minimum balance. And then I have the two connected. So if I need to transfer funds back and forth, I can do that. But yeah, it's very so.
I think it's also helpful for tax purposes because you don't have to, it's easier to audit yourself basically. So I have an account that I use for my life stuff. Like I pay all my life membership stuff out of that, and I pay myself until the business takes off. For me, I pay myself So I don't, but I consider it like a bill for me, you know, so it comes out of my account into my credit union account, and then it just stays there until I need it. But then I can, when I'm doing stuff with taxes, I can say, okay, here's how much I spent receipt wise on tolls to go to this conference, you know, and I can technically claim that as income before I would pay the taxes on what I earn. So for tax purposes, I think it's a really good idea to have a separate bank account, even if it's a personal bank account, but a separate account that is dedicated to your business.
Okay, great, great. Those are all so helpful. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I would just summarize all of that by, you know, when you think about the order of things, I definitely recommend that you have a separate business account for exactly what Rachel said. I mean, if we think about the order of things, you need to get your EIN number first after you pick your business name. Get your register with the state, get your bank account. You can start tracking all of those expenses. But it also is, it's really an act of demonstrating that you're really serious about this. I'm going to tell you, I've done it both ways, and I have regretted the times when I have just created another personal account or just used my own personal account, because it can get convoluted. And we got to operate in the abundance mindset. We have to know and trust that when we get going in our businesses, or, you know, even now you're in business, that the money's going to be in there and you're going to have good problems. And that those problems are, you know, just managing the funds that you have in the account. So it's having that abundance mindset, believing that it's going to come in, and just biting the bullet and saying, yes, I am going to create this separate account. And also, what another factor to consider is, if you're going to be doing business with other businesses, it's just much more professional.
Mhm.
And if you move into contracts, if you're going to be doing corporate work, they're going to require you to have a business account. So why not do it just right off the bat?
Right, right. No, that makes total sense. Yes.
All right. Good, good, good. So anybody else have any other questions? Anything that you can think of in terms of your business that maybe it's a challenge, maybe you want to brainstorm some messaging, or you want to talk through how your event works?
This may be a super loaded question,
Bring it.
On.
especially for like Angie the Extraordinaire and all you fabulous ladies. Starting off in the launching phase, I mean, how do you just balance your time in life? I mean, I know that's pretty, I know, right?
I know, it's loaded. You're right.
It's super loaded, but because you are a one woman shop starting off, right? It takes a lot of time to just kind of get maybe one or two things done, right? Because you're operating in all these different facets: marketing, finance, business, social media. And you know, you're excited, you're passionate, and then I don't know about you, but every few hours I'm like, I quit. And I'm like, no, I don't. But it's just, even I think managing my own, I don't want to say burnout, because I'm not there, but just like, there's the trust factor, there's the confidence factor, and then there's like, no, stop working. So
Well, so there's a rule that comes into play, a couple of rules that come into play here. First of all, the first rule is that whatever energy you put out, it has to be put back.
okay.
It has to be restored somehow. You don't want to wake up finding yourself on E.
Mhm.
And we as women entrepreneurs, we constantly do that. I really, I mean, even after being in business for myself all this time, it is a lesson that I learn over and over and over. Just when I think I have it mastered, you know, something else pops up. Well, one of the drivers of us doing that is that we're excited, you know, and so we've got like these extra fumes that are operating in our life, and we get excited. We work ourselves to death. We want to bring things to completion. And so we put a lot of energy into it, and then we want to kill over after we've put something together. And we're like, oh, I don't know if I can do any more. So you just have to recognize that there's a law of replacement that you've got to do. So, and it takes discipline. So the second rule that you have to think about is the fact that you have a natural algorithm. This is what I talk about in Compose Your Soul. The way that you like to operate may look different than how I like to operate. So, you know, example, it being that I just don't do well unless there's pressure. If I don't have pressure, you know, I can dream all day long about having time to strategize and think about things. But you know what? When I do clear my calendar and I have time to do that, I'm like, oh, do I really do that? You know? And it's because my natural algorithm says that I like the pressure. Pressure causes me to perform. You know, for you may be the total opposite. You may be, oh my gosh, if I have pressure, then things fall apart and I crumble and I just kind of go, oh, I can't take it anymore. You know, and you know, you might be the person that you operate best with just pacing yourself and going and thinking about things for a little while and percolating on them. And you just got to process them, and then you're not going as fast as you want. And so an inner critic comes in and says, well, Data, you know you should be going faster, right? I mean, so it's being very clear about what your natural algorithm is and honoring that.
Yeah, that's good. Some stuff's resonating with me. I got my whiteboard in front of me.
Well, and then there, you know, there's another rule that there's always, you know, it's important to have an accountability partner or a coach. I believe in the power of coaching. Some of you are coaches. Just coming to this virtual mastermind is accountability. Because I find that no matter what your natural algorithm is, if you're not accountable to anyone, you're less likely to follow through with things. And you are more likely to go down a path that may cause you to stray away from what your original goals were, because you might be the person that follows shiny objects. Oh, you know, well, I was going to be a coach, but I really like this, you know, I think I want to sell paparazzi instead. You know, start piling things on. And, you know, we wake up one day and we find out that we're a Mary Kay consultant, or instead of an organizational development consultant, or whatever it is that you're going for. And I value Mary Kay, by the way. Pamela Robbins is my Mary Kay representative, and I absolutely love her, and that's what she's destined to do. But so I'm just using that as an example. So you have the accountability is so critical.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 3 rules that I would say are important. And, you know, literally stepping away. There's neuroscience that just proves that if you just keep at it and you're trying to drive it when you don't have the energy and your mind is tapped out, you're just not going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. And whatever ideas you do manage to squeak out, they're probably not going to be the best ideas, because you haven't given your mind a chance to reset. And so even if it's doing, you know, one thing an intervention that I do for myself is I can sit here at this computer all day long. I can develop stuff. I can just keep going and hash it out. I make myself get up from here. I'll go take a walk, or I'll go and talk with somebody, and at least practice change of pace, change of place. That equals a change of perspective. So you got to do that.
Today. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, so Rachel, you have a question. Can anyone speak about how they decided to take the leap and leave the golden handcuffs of a job? Let's open that up to the group.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
I worked in a call center for 25 and a half years, and they kept raising the bar. I mean, the stress in RCI is a great place to work, but the stress will kill you. And I think they know that. They do a good job of bringing in massage therapists and things like, and they have a lifestyle center and things like that. But it's just like, you've got to perform. And what's so different about it is you have a clean slate every Monday morning. So if this is a sales job pretty much. So if you don't perform on Monday well, it destroys your whole week. And, but the pressure got so bad in December of 15, I broke out in shingles. I knew that was the universe telling me, get out. I mean, I'd already started my first coaching program, which was the law of attraction, but that was giving me so much pressure. I had to do so many practice calls and do so much. There was so much work to do in that, plus the job itself. It just was too much. And I realized that it's like, I need to get, it's like, I'm hanging on for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, the benefits are great, but it's killing me. So it's like, I'm getting out.
Yeah. So for you, Catherine, it was more of this is really painful. I spent a lot of time here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really boils down to it's a sweatshop. I mean, it really is. I mean, and I recognize I ended up there because of a trauma situation when I was 6 years old, where I decided I can't make my own decisions. So where do I end up? In a call center that tells you when to go to the bathroom, when to go to lunch. You talk about a controlled environment. It is so controlled that you can't get up out of your chair when you want to half the time. So it can be a fun environment. In fact, when Crystal was at the helm, it was a fun environment. But, after Crystal sold the company, it slowly went downhill. I mean, it was basically dog eat dog and bottom line, and you got to produce or you're out. And it's like, you didn't feel valued. And it's like, and moving up the ladder was very difficult to do anyway. So it's like, yes, you had opportunities to use some of your skills, but it really wasn't a place to grow. And I just felt like I was not using any of my potential. And they really didn't know who my personality was pretty hidden there. I mean, they didn't really know who I was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let's hear from someone else.
I'll add something. I'll make it quick. Some things Catherine Kuhn said yesterday, I really resonated with. Just spending my career in HR. So my last opportunity, we broke up with each other last October. It was wonderful. It needed to happen. But prior to that, I knew I was burnt out of HR, honestly, 3.5 years, probably 4 years prior to that. So I kept changing companies thinking that was going to change something. So after I kept experiencing the same feeling, I was like, oh, maybe it's the role. And what's interesting is in my HR roles, when I even think back to the feedback I would get a lot of from the employees and the executives and managers I supported, I've been a coach even before I honestly knew what coaching was. And I feel like HR was just my umbrella to kind of give me this playground to freely experiment with coaching. And so I ended up getting a coaching certification just because I was getting interested. But it really got to a point in my career where I felt like I had to kind of hide kind of who I was from corporate culture standpoint, as well as the number one thing that I loved about my HR role was the coaching piece. But in my HR business partner roles, that wasn't really valued. So now the one thing that I really love, now I kind of have to hide that too. It felt like an internal Death is dramatic. I feel like I was in quicksand. Quicksand. And so after my job and I broke up, 2020 happens, 2020 happens. And so it was really just a matter of me realizing. So what was kind of funny to me with all the changes that have gone on in the world, HR is even different. And I was like, oh, God kicked me out of HR before it even like got flipped upside down. I know I really don't want to do anything out of this. So then it turned into, what do I want to do with this time? I have prayed for years for this time. Here it is. And so then it just kind of moved into all the different mind work, connecting with the VIP center to get me here. But I just think it was a journey of really listening to what I felt, how I felt, and truly honoring who I am.
Thank you.
Yeah, so listening to you're sitting sound, I mean, you had some pain, but you also had, I mean, there was something in you that was longing to get out. Yeah, you were like, I could do really cool things. I could coach people. Right. So there was just like a certain excitement for you about doing it.
Yeah. I felt very repressed about who I was and how I wanted to operate and the things I wanted to do.
Yeah. Okay.
I can go. Teacher and I have had some similar experiences that we've shared with each other. I also am still technically in HR. I still haven't completely left that consulting day job, or what I called last night. I think I called it, it's like it's my side gig, but I'm still treating it like my primary gig. So I need to kind of work on that. But I had an opportunity where I also wasn't happy, but my position was eliminated. And so I had a runway where I could take a little bit of a look and see what it is that I wanted to do. And I also had that deep longing for something that was different and better and more me. I used that time to do some exploration, and I'm still not completely there. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've experimented. I've done subcontracting consulting with some different firms. I took a full-time HR consulting role for the last year. And I came back to, this is what I'm meant to do and what I'm meant to be. And I also am struggling with, when do I cut off the other consulting work that I'm doing now, and that when I start to do my business full time. And something that Catherine said last night resonated with me too. She kind of, I don't know if it came up, if she did this exactly like this, but it came across to me that she kind of went cold turkey, and she said, I'm going all in. I'm going to do this. My mortgage is paid this month, is what she said. My child is fed right now. There are a number of things that are okay now, but trusted that she and whatever powers that be would conspire together to create the bank account, to create the opportunities. And so I'm kind of thinking about that. It's like, all right, I've had so many experiences of where I've taken a leap, and it feels so scary because there's not an unknown. The unknown is on the outside. You don't know where you're going to land. But then it's like, literally, like, it's like pennies from heaven start coming down sometimes. Like, you just get what you need. It may not be the full financial support of your business yet, but there will be other things that will kind of fill in your time and your bank account that you're going to be able to use to build your business. And so I needed to have you ask that question today, Rachel. So thank you for asking that, because I need to think about that myself.
You're welcome.
So I think when you're ready, you're ready. And I think there's got to be an element of trust, because there are no guarantees, but there's a lot in having faith and trust that you'll receive what you need. It'll come.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, Beth, because it is, It's really about you understanding that you have something to offer, and you have skills and talents and gifts that people are willing to pay for. Every single one of us fits that category. Every single one of us. So it's just a matter of you recognizing that, and and I just call out the F card, the faith card, because it is not the F word. The faith card. Haha, tricked you. But anyway, it really is about faith. I mean, my journey, I made a major leap. I had a great corporate career. I was making lots of money. I was miserable, tired, exhausted, and I knew that I had skills that, you know, I had a target audience. I knew that the skills that I had would be helpful. And I let my husband know. I created an 8-month runway. I said, I'm tired of doing this over and over for other people. It's time for me to do this on my own. And so I'm just going to need your support to do this. And so he was, and my husband is a commercial plumber. I'm going to tell you, he doesn't make loads and loads of money, right? So he almost had a heart attack. What? You know, oh my gosh, our benefits, you know, he's freaking out about it. But he got on board with me and understood that I needed to do this. And it really, once I made that decision, it's when you finally say, you know, it clicks and you commit and you're like, I'm going in this direction. There is something that happens in the universe. And what happens in the universe is things just start moving into place. It just starts formulating for you. You start miraculously making contacts. Your mind gets much more clear because you've gotten off of the fence of indecision. And it is really painful to sit on that fence, right? Really painful in so many ways. But so it's really about making that decision, doing it in faith, and knowing that no weapon formed against you is going to prosper, and your life is even more valuable than sparrows. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yep.
Very good. All right, ladies, what else?
Esther took herself off mute. Does that mean she wants to say something?
Oh, no, I mean, honestly, I was just going to say I'm where Beth is. It's making me rethink this, or what, using Angie's analogy, sitting on the fence is becoming increasingly more uncomfortable. So I still have at least one handcuff on, but you know, unlocking one of them, I know, I'm like, yeah. But mine's been a slow burn, and certainly not a leap. And and I'm starting to feel the pain of that. So my wise friend in Food Fighters, Pamela J. Robbins, last Saturday we had a Zoom call, and the Zoom call was not about Food Fighters. It was really about just kind of freedom. And we talked about, you know, kind of, I mean, I've had increasing frustration in managing and juggling my day job and the job that I really want to do, that I, you know, and she challenged me to put pen to paper and to put together like a timeline. And so Beth, I don't know if that's where your head was going, but that's what I've decided I need to do, is to really kind of buckle down there. So that's all. I just wanted to share that. So I still have one handcuff on at least.
Just don't get shingles from the job.
Well,
No, you know, it's interesting. Yeah, don't get shingles. And you know, mine is not necessarily stress, it's boredom. So my reasons were feeling, bored. I've been doing what I've been doing for a number of years, and just uninspired, and feeling not valued either. So when you combine that, and you know that you can offer more, and you keep telling people, I can do more, I can offer more, I have more to give, and yet there's not an interest in me. I'll just talk about me, because it's about me. And then you start, you I know I was starting to be inauthentic and not revealing my true self, and I just needed to do that, and that's what I'm doing. And they don't know how to take me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, Esther, as I was listening to your situation, it just reminds me of how it seems like when it is your time, when it comes to life, that perhaps this is the moment for which you've been created. That's exactly what came to mind just now.
Right.
When that happens, the home fires, the work fires that, that you've been involved in, suddenly it's just not as attractive. Suddenly it's just, you can literally see the door closing.
Right.
On that path. We have a tendency to put our foot in the door and say, wait,
Yep.
wait a minute, let me figure this out first. And but the door is closing because you're being called forth into what you're designed to do.
Right. Exactly. And not only is the door closing, but as it's closing, I look down, I find the key to that other handcuff and unbuckle, unlock it, and move on.
Float.
Here's the keys.
We're done.
The keys for you ladies.
So,
my situation, if I can share real quick, that led to the question is, with COVID, I'm no longer working in my office. Everything's remote, and because of that, my job has changed in that I'm doing a lot more busy work, because it needs to be done, but it really feels like a monkey could do my job. And I've kind of shared a little bit, I have some challenges dealing with my father at the moment. And so I kind of felt like yesterday afternoon, I kind of had a mild panic attack, and I have a very great support system in my mother, and she came over and we talked through some stuff, but I'm in a situation right now where I could quit my job and be okay financially for about 4 to 6 months, if I was very careful. And my mother is a very big believer in, you don't leave a job until you have another job to go to. She's a true, but I had been, well, in my 20s, I was actually a missionary, which was great. I loved it. But we also I lived on $18.87 a week, because of how we did stuff, because sometimes my unit leaders didn't believe in what we were doing enough to ask for the money for our performances, So part of my financial struggle is, my job pays a lot of money compared to where I've been. But I do get how God provides those pennies from heaven. When I was unemployed and underemployed, my car didn't break down. I didn't get sick to have to go to the doctor. It was almost like if I had money come in, I knew I was going to get sick, because then I could go to the doctor. It was almost to that point. And then I was like, okay, I need to start living in abundance, but, so I know that, I want to do ministry, but I also want to do profitable ministry in order to give to other people, and I love how Angie always tells us, we're worth more than we as women generally accept from ourselves. We want to give stuff away for free, and we're worth being paid, but my mom, when I had been unemployed and then underemployed for about 3 years before I got my current job. And the job that I have right now was an answer to prayer at that time, because I just wanted the security. And, you know, my mom had said, you know, I hope you keep the job, even if you hate it, you know, at one point. And then last night she said, well, you know, you could quit your job. And I'm like, started laughing. And I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the but. She's like, no but, no whatever. There's a, you know, this will create other challenges. But it was just this freedom thought. So
Well, hey, Rachel, I mean, you said the job that you have now was an answer to prayer.
at that time.
At that time, yes, that's what I mean. And maybe your mom's words, those coming from the most unlikely person that you would ever, maybe that is an answer to prayer too.
Yeah, it's definitely a stirring up of the nest. And, you know,
Yeah.
my goal would be, you know, I would finish out till February, because then it would be the best time to transition to them only having one person. And part of me kind of feels like, and the part of my job that I really loved doing was teaching people about this one system. And for financial reasons, they're no longer using that system anymore. And I'm like, this is just God freeing me up from this job to go do what he's called me to.
Yeah.
Yay!
I just realized Angie's recording me crying so that everybody else in the VIP center can see this.
Well, this is an origin story that you've just spoken out loud. And when we talk about origin stories, these are the stories that cause people to feel something and it inspires them. So everything that you've just said is extremely inspiring. And whether you realize it or not, somebody's going to watch this, they're going to be inspired by you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Ladies, I have to jump off. I've got to get ready for the summit, but I loved today's session. We'll be back next week, the 4th. I don't know if we're going to have a guest speaker. I'll be on one way or the other, but anyway, we'll see. I don't know exactly what we're going to have on tap for next week, but we will either have a speaker or I'm going to teach you something.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for sharing your stories. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.